Hey beauties, it's Court. Welcome back to my channel. This is the shit I wish I didn't get part 2 video. I have a lot of high-end stuff, couple drugstore things. This video is going to be a little bit different because I do have some alternatives for certain things. They're not necessarily dupes. That's why they are alternatives, because they're not exactly spot on dupes. I don't have an alternative for everything, but I do for quite a few things. So without further ado, if you would like to see some more shit I wish I didn't get, keep your cute little ass right where it's at. So we're going to start with one of the big daddy things. Actually, no, we're not. No, we're not. So let's start with the things that I don't have an alternative for. The first one is going to be this moisturizer from Benefit. This is their Total Moisture Facial Cream. The packaging is really cute. This was like a sample that I got in a free gift with purchase kind of thing. I used this for, it's actually almost gone. I used almost all of this. It just didn't do anything. It didn't moisturize. Even when I first put it on, my skin just kept sucking it up and sucking it up and sucking it up, and nothing else would happen. It didn't feel, it didn't feel greasy. It didn't feel moist. Like there was just, it was just like nothing. It was like rubbing water into my face. Like eventually it just kind of disappeared. And it was like I didn't put anything on my face at all. My favorite moisturizer is the Neutrogena Hydro Boost Water Gel, Neutrogena Hydro Boost Gel, something like that. It comes in a big blue tub. I swear by it. It's my holy grail moisturizer, but this just didn't do anything for me. So the next thing that I have actually came in a beautiful, lovely package that my friend Gina sent me, but this product just did not work for me. This is from the Tyra Banks Cosmetics line. This is called her, what is this shit called? Her Oops liner. So basically what this is it is a marker liner. First of all, look at this thing. This is wicked. Look how big that is. It's a felt tip marker liner, and on the other side there's another marker, and it's supposed to like erase your mistakes. This thing is crazy. Like if you use just the tip, absolutely nothing comes off. But if you press, you can get a nice, you know, like a nice thicker line. Let's talk about this Oops part over here. You ready for this? This is supposed to be the eraser. Yeah, you see that? It's just making a huge fucking mess. So don't waste your money. Her cosmetics are expensive, and this is not worth it. The next item I have is a primer. It's from the drugstore. This is the Covergirl True Blend Face Primer. This is the one formulated for dry skin. They also have one for oily skin, and I think one for normal skin. I'm not 100% sure. But this basically does absolutely nothing for my skin. If you use it with certain foundations, it like balls up underneath of it, and it does nothing. It's not hydrating. It doesn't prolong the wear of my makeup, and it fucking stinks. Kathleen said it smells like Elmer's glue. She's spot on with that. That's exactly what it smells like. So this is a bust. If you want an alternative, a really good drugstore primer for hydrating is the NYX Hydra Touch. This is new. I think it was less than $10, $8 or $9. Really, really good. I haven't been using this for that long. I think it's been at least a week since I bought this. When you first squirt it out, it kind of looks like it's going to be a silicone kind of consistency, but it just feels like a really nice gel moisturizer, and it makes your skin a little bit tacky, but it feels very, very soft and moisturizing, and it doesn't really do much for prolonging the wear of my makeup. I feel like a lot of primers are more formulated for creating a nice base as opposed to prolonging makeup. I feel like that's what setting sprays are for. So this just gives your skin a nice plump, like very smooth feeling. It's just very hydrating, and I think this is a really, really good primer. You're going to see me haul this in an upcoming video and absolutely rave about it because I love it. So this from CoverGirl is crap, and this is awesome. I didn't say the stupid disclaimer in the beginning because you guys know I never do, but this is a concealer that I know a lot of people love. I hate it. I do not understand the hype around the Nars creamy concealer. I have mine in the shade Vanilla. This is a little mini size, and I think I used this 3 times, and I knew I hated it. It got so crepey up under my eyes, and I have horrible creases under my eyes. Everything creases on me, but some concealers crease less than others. I have never had a concealer crease on me as bad as this one does. It is awful, whether I set it with powder, whether I don't. It It's absolutely terrible, and it dries so fast to where, like with a regular concealer, I'll apply it everywhere I need to, and then I'll go in and I'll blend it out. With this, I have to literally do it in tiny sections. I have to do my nose, blend it out. I have to do my forehead, blend it out. Do one eye, blend it out, set that eye. You get what I'm saying? It's just really hard for me to work with because it dries so quickly, and it's just, there's not, the coverage on it isn't that great. I don't like the shade range. I mean, between this one and I think the next one, custard, I think it goes vanilla to custard. This isn't very, very bright. This isn't as light as I would like it to be. And then the next one up is like so much darker than this one. I don't like this at all. The concealer that I found in my collection that I feel like is a good alternative to the Nars concealer is the Maybelline Better Skin. I love this concealer. You have probably heard me rave about this if you've been following me for a while. It's really, really good. It's a lighter consistency, but it has better coverage. It doesn't dry as fast, so it has a much better working time. It's a lot more affordable, and I just all around feel like this is a much better formula. You get way more bang for your buck because that Nars stuff is so expensive. Nars stuff is like, some of it is just so crazy overpriced. I can't even believe it. Like, I don't understand how they can charge so much for crap makeup. Like, so much of it is, a lot of it's good, don't get me wrong, but a lot of it is so shitty and it's so expensive. I just don't understand, because this is like $6 or $8 or something like that at the drugstore, and this is phenomenal. So this is my alternative. My alternative. It's not a dupe, but if you're looking for something kind of like it, I like this better. I guess we might as well get the other Nars product out of the way. This is their Super Orgasm blush. This is a fucking joke right here, this blush. It has not even glitter chunks in it. It has, I don't even know how to explain it. It's like chunks. Like, not even, like, it's not, okay, it's not glitter pieces. Like, there isn't glitter in it. There is chunks of a glittery substance all throughout this. You know what the chunks in this remind me of? It reminds me of the gold particles that you would find in the bottom of a bottle of Goldschlager. That's the only way I can think of explaining it. It's just chunky. It's a dry formula. It's just not, there isn't much, I mean, there's not much pigmentation to it. Once you start blending it out, there isn't really much there, and it's just not good. It has like this really pretty gold shift to it. If it didn't have the gold chunks in it, it might be really pretty if it was a little bit more creamy as well, because it's kind of a dry formula, like I said. But all around, this is just a very, I don't like this at all. It's just, this is a bad product, because I don't know anybody who wants straight glitter on their cheeks. I mean, if you do and that's your thing, girlfriend, whatever makes you feel beautiful, but I know it is not my thing at all. I hate this. An alternative that I found in my collection for the Nars Super Orgasm is actually by Hourglass, and this is in the shade Luminous Flush. It's just a kind of a similar color. I mean, they're not, obviously they're not exact dupes. It's on my middle finger there. This one actually blends out nicer. There's a lot more pigment to it once you get it on your face, and it's not shimmery or anything like that. It just leaves it beautiful, like it says, like a luminous flush on your face, and it's kind of a similar color. So again, not a dupe, but a better alternative if you're looking for something in that shade range with kind of like that luminosity to it on the higher end scale of things. Next up is a mascara. I have heard this mascara raved about all over Instagram and YouTube, and people love this, and I think it is shit. This is the Best Lash Extreme by Jordana. Why, people? Like, why? I tried to use this so many times. I tried to make this work because so many people say it's amazing. The wand does not grip onto your lashes at all. It looks promising. It's just kind of like a regular looking mascara wand, but it doesn't grasp onto my lashes. And there's like, if I rub it along my hand like that, like nothing comes off of it. So you really, this is one of those wands where you have to wiggle your lashes into it to be able to get the product off, because as you saw when I rub it on my hand, nothing comes off. So this needs to be able to grab onto your lashes. And just everything about this is just the opposite of what I look for in a mascara. Now, I did find kind of a brush dupe in my collection. This is nowhere near the same price range, but when I was kind of going through just looking for something that would be similar, This, I'll show you the two wands next to each other, and then I'll tell you what it is. So these are the two wands next to each other. You can see they're almost exactly the same. The one on this side over here goes to a little bit, I don't know actually. Yeah, it goes to a little bit more of a point on the tip, but they're pretty much exactly the same wand. The one on this side is a mascara from MAC. This is their Mineralized Multi-Effect Lash. I really love this mascara, but what I really honestly like it for is my bottom lashes. It's really good on your top lashes as well, but I feel like it's really good for, like, you can just wiggle it onto your bottom lashes. Like, you don't have to stroke at all. You just wiggle it, and it puts down the perfect amount of product. It's not clumpy. Eventually, it does get kind of crunchy, which is the one thing I don't like about it, because one of the claims with this mascara is that it's going to keep your eyelashes soft and that it has like vitamins and stuff in it that's good for your lashes. But it does eventually get a little bit crunchy, so that's kind of disappointing, but it's not flaky at all. And like I said, the brush is almost an exact dupe for the Jordana. Complete opposite ends of the price range spectrum, but very alike mascara wands. Next up, we have a palette, and this may come as no surprise to you if you watched my Covergirl kind of like comparison videos. Wow, look what just happened. The pan it just fell out. It just fell out of the palette. Like, this is a $50 palette. Pans should not just be falling out of it. So we'll just add that to the list. This is the Urban Decay Naked 2. This is not mine, but I have tried to use it multiple times. This is my girlfriend's, and obviously you can tell she loves the shit out of it. First of all, I don't like the shades in here. It's too cool toned for me. I'm not a fan of the colors. But second of all, there just isn't very much payoff with this palette. You would think for a $50 palette you would get very good pigment. They would be very blendable, creamy, soft, smooth. Everything that I just mentioned, think about the opposite of those things, and that's what this palette is. It's very disappointing. The first Naked palette is phenomenal. The third one's even okay. It's not my favorite, but this one, for some reason, the formula is just crap on this thing. No good at all. So I didn't find a very good alternative for this, but I do have kind of a more cooler toned palette in my collection that did kind of remind me of it, but is much better quality. And this is the Too Faced Bonbons palette. Now, if you hold them next to each other, you can see that there are some similarities between the two of them. There are some shadows that do remind me of each other. I can't really point them out. This is a very awkward position for me. But if you take a look, you can definitely see there are some similar shades in there. And the Bonbons palette, I mean, it's got the fun pops of color with the blue and the pink, so you get that in there as well. You get these two really large, wonderful highlight shades that also work beautifully on your face. It's a very easy, cool-toned palette to use. So I feel like it's good if you like warm tones, but you kind of want to transition into using cooler tones, or you just want to use them once in a while and you just want to have a good cool toned palette in your arsenal. I think that this is definitely the way to go. These blend phenomenally. They have great pigment on them, and this is just an all around really good palette. Another palette that I was very disappointed in is the Anastasia Artist palette. This palette makes no fucking sense to me. This thing is crazy. Like, the brush that comes in it is really good. Anastasia does include some pretty good brushes in her palettes. This is a really nice blending brush on the tip here. This one, I'm not really sure how to use this brush down here. I've never needed a brush that looked like this, but the blending brush on this side is really good. But the palette, though, like, when you look at it, you're like, oh, look, it's so fun. It's so pretty and colorful. But Jesus, how the hell do you create a look with this thing? I, for the life of me, could not come up with one single full look from this palette. Nothing. I could not put together a look with this, and I am not afraid of color. Eyeshadow is my favorite thing to work with. When I do my makeup, I honestly take at least a half an hour just to do my eyeshadow. It's my favorite part of my routine. So when I was trying to figure this palette out, my friend Erin said that they're supposed to be quads. And I knew that about the other Anastasia palettes, but I didn't think it was true with this one because I don't think that's a look. I don't think that's a look. I don't think that's a look. Do you see where I'm going here? I mean, it just, none of them in here as quads make any sense to me. None of them together, even in the same palette, make any sense to me. I mean, there's beautiful shades in here. Dusty Rose is gorgeous. I mean, Buttery is okay. Beigely, there's, I don't know. I personally regret buying this palette because it makes no fucking sense to me whatsoever. When I buy a palette, I buy it because I want the colors to be cohesive and I want to be able to create multiple looks with the same palette. And like I said, with this one, I couldn't even create one look. I couldn't really find an alternative for that palette. I do have one that has similar colors in it though that performs much better, and that one is going to be the, now remember, I don't own all the eyeshadow palettes, so this is just what I'm working with from my little humble collection. This is the Urban Decay Shadow Box. Now this goes on sale all the time. You can always get this for I think like 20 bucks or maybe even cheaper than that. And the colors in it, I'll show you. If you look at them side by side, you can see they both have an orange, they both have a green, they both have 2 tones of purple, they both have a neutral shade. This one is all shimmery except for the matte black, but they both have a black in them. So they're a very similar in color range, and the fact that neither of these palettes make any sense to me. But this one, I don't know, I like these shadows in the Urban Decay Shadow Box a lot better. I don't know. I felt like these two kind of reminded me of each other, and I like this one better. Next up for your kisser. I do not like these. I don't like them. The Too Faced Melteds. All of them. I don't like any of them. They're not for me. They're like see, I want to say moussey, but moussey isn't the word that comes to mind with these. Sticky is the word that comes to mind. Like thick and sticky and gloppy. That gloppy word comes back around to haunt me. I don't like these, especially the lighter shades. These two right here. This is Melted Peony and this one is Melted Sugar. Gorgeous shades, beautiful shades, but the formula sucks so bad. It's just awful. You put these on and you can have a half a conversation with your cat and like barely say anything, and you have butthole lips almost immediately. It gets so thick and gloopy on the inside of your mouth, and then the way that they fade is just very patchy and uneven. I don't like these at all. I don't. They were a complete and total miss for me. An alternative for those, in my opinion, because they have a similar consistency and you can also find similar shades, except these are a lot cheaper than those, are the NYX Soft Matte Lip Creams. Now, these are not a liquid lipstick and neither are the Melteds. They're kind of the same consistency where they're a little bit more moussey, but they're a lot more matte than the Melteds are. Not that the Melteds, I don't know if they're made to be matte or not. I don't think they're made to be matte. They just say liquefied longwear lipstick. But the Soft Matte Lip Creams are more matte, which I prefer. I don't know, they're more comfortable to wear. They don't get like gloopy all in the center of your lips like the Too Faced ones do. And I like these. And they just remind me of the Too Faced ones. So that's why I threw them in here. Is that it? We only got one thing left? This went by quick. This video is actually going to be 2 parts. There will be another part to this in a couple of weeks I'm going to upload because I got all my stuff together for a products I regret buying video. And when I added in the fact that I was going to do alternatives, I knew I had to split it into 2 or else the video was going to be like an hour long. So this is just the first part. So look forward to another round of this coming up soon. So the last product I have is another Too Faced product. This is the Soulmates bronzer in Carrie Big. This is just not a good formula at all. Nothing is good about this. The bronzer or the blush. The bronzer has a little bit of pigment, but it hard panned. There's like nothing there. Look, on my middle finger. And you can see in the actual pan itself, you can see all this texture it's getting right here. And it's very hard right there as well. So it's really, really hard to get any pigment on your brush. Also, the design of this is very strange. It's hard to get. I like big bronzer brushes. My bronzer brushes are usually fluffy and big. So it's hard for me to get into the bronzer without getting into the blush as well. But it doesn't matter because the blush has absolutely no pigment to it at all anyway. When you swatch it, you see that? Do you see that? There's like, where can we swatch this? Let's see, right here. It's like a fucking joke, right? Like there's no... Let's Let's see if we can build this up. Let me use my thumb, get a little bit more pressure in there. Oh, look, it's starting to show up. Seriously, Too Faced, like, this is such a shitty product. Like, it's just bad. It does not perform at all. The other one in Ross and Rachel, I really like that one. The bronzer's a little bit smoother. The blush, it's not very pigmented at all. But the bronzer in that one is better than this one. This one, though, this is just crap. Now, I couldn't find an exact dupe for this bronzer in my collection, but I did find two that were pretty similar. One of them is from Too Faced. This is the Endless Summer, and then the other one is from Hourglass, and this is their Luminous Bronze Light. So I have swatches on the back of my hand. So this one is the Too Faced Soulmates. This one is the Endless Summer. You can see it's just a tad bit more cool toned. And then this one is the Luminous Bronze Light. And actually the Luminous Bronze Light is a lot closer than the Endless Summer is. So I could probably just actually even take this one out of the equation and just go with the Luminous Bronze Light. It also has that beautiful, the Luminous Bronze Light actually has more of a shimmer to it, whereas the Too Faced one has more of a sheen. I actually like the shimmer in this bronzer because it's so delicate and it's so light that it really just adds this beautiful luminosity to your face. So if you are looking for a warm tone bronzer that's just going to brighten up and liven up when you warm it up, when you warm up your face, the Luminous Bronze Light from Hourglass is a wonderful bronzer. I love that bronzer so much. Even when I'm not comparing it or trying to find a dupe, that's just a really good bronzer in general. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe if you haven't. That is so bass awkward. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please look forward to part 3 coming up soon. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed. Comment down below. Let me know what some shit you hate is. I would love to read about regrets that you have in the makeup buying world. Subscribe if you haven't, and subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you in my next video. Mwah.